do well in the early game as well with this type of comp.
Absolutely. I got my eyes on that Lucian as we are ready to jump into game number 1.
KT roster, 하나, 둘, 셋, KT, 파이팅!
소환사의 협곡에 오신
D+,
것을
하나, 둘,
환영합니다.
셋. D+, 기아, 파이팅!
미니언 생성까지
Got the
30초
clappies.
남았습니다.
Came
Little lackluster.
a little bit late. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. But this game number 1, I think is really going to set the tone for this series because we all kind of voted for KT Rolster, right? But D+, winning streak, maybe getting some confidence back. I'm not a big fan of the Lucian Nami nowadays, but must be doing pretty well in scrims to see it banned away very often, even on red side, saying, okay, we cannot deal with this. See a lot of like Senna Lucian bans on red, plus, you know, X, whatever champ you want to go for. In this case, it was the Azir for D+ that they banned away.
It really is a scrim pick as well, so I think it makes sense that teams continuously value it. In scrims, obviously teams play a bit more fast and loose, and Lucian with a lead can be obscenely oppressive. Some of the tech that we do see here is King going for Comet. I think it was triple or quadruple Scourge coming through from DK as well. So really going all in on the laning, and they do have to. Both of these two compositions are going to have a really tough time when they get towards later stage of the game if they lose early control. More so DK, because their engage is truly dreadful. It's Poppy. That's really the best that they got, which isn't really engage, it's more so of an opportunity to get an early pick. Whereas for KT, they do have Nautilus, which helps a ton. It's Perfect already roasting King in there early, and Duno Perfect did go for Ignite, so Hooney's on the desk.
Oh,
must have been a big part of that decision as well.
He didn't want to get punished later on by Hooney, so yeah, that's a pretty good idea, I'd say. You know, put on the pressure. Obviously, it's Aatrox, so the Ignite is going to have a lot of value in terms of cutting away some of that extra healing in those big trades that they will eventually have. But yeah, the Rumble feeling pretty good in this matchup as Pyosik gonna hop the wall. We do have Lucid right here, and he's gonna spot him and just run straight at him, actually, and just make it very well known that Pyosik was spotted. And just kind of escort him out of the river, even chasing him into the jungle here. Lucid not scared to take this 1v1, and he shouldn't be. Pyosik will just run away.
Pyosik looking for an early play towards the bot side there, trying to punish Callum and aiming, playing really aggressive with this Lucian Nami. Lucid, though, actually pathed towards it as well. This wasn't them spotting him on a ward earlier on. Actually went into the river to try and either try and cover or maybe try and go for a lane gank, although I can't imagine that there was a lot of fruitful chances for him there. So does sniff out the yank, meaning that both of them waste a little bit of time.
Uh-oh, Deft getting ignited, has to flash the bubble. Was Beryl kind of a desperate dredge line to potentially save his life, but Deft down heal, down flash already, and he was just roaming into the river, kind of in an awkward angle, so immediately he's just pushed out of the lane.
Deft really has been struggling, I think, the last couple of matches. Again, the strength of schedule does really come into play there, because he's placed against Paisley Hens, Viper the Light, and Guma Carrier. But this is not a great start to the laning phase here. Already being down sums, particularly against Lucian Nami, can be really rough. If you don't get those sums back before aiming and Kellen get access to their level 6, you can be at a high level of threat. I was able to get the wave crash in, though. Is a cannon wave, so aiming should be able to pick up most of it. But it does mean the bounce back will be there for Deft and Barrow, so hopefully we'll be able to farm as Deft is roaming, caught in the ward here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to push back. He's not losing anything by doing this, but definitely very weird. You don't see like a level 3 80 carry in the bot river just hanging out. Also spotted. Generally, it'll be the support, you know, that goes on a roam because he's out there. He's got some time while his 80 carry is just farming. But yeah, Def knows that he's not going to lose any CS by doing this. So he'll just get down to the bottom lane right on time.
Pyosik, double scuttle. So thank you for that one, Deft. some much-needed assistance for the Lee. So we see the pings. They do, again, have an inkling that he is towards them here. Back they go.
Yeah, that's a flash coming in. Q's going to land, but no real reason to go for it just now. After they already got the flash out of aiming. Aiming saying, well, I burned your flash. I'm going to burn mine. Nice little angle once again, returning down to the bottom lane.
Good flash there. Would probably have ended up flashing and possibly dying even if he didn't. And now he does maintain his full health bar. Lucid immediately back on shadowing Pyosik duty. His main role here is to just ensure his bot lane can play aggressively. Pyosik not going to be scared off by the young jungler. Gets his big chicken.
Yeah, and Lucid's just following him around.
Yeah, his scamps are down.
Yeah,
so
Lucid got one
too much.
little chicken, the popcorn chicken. Those are very delicious.
The downside of this, they really are, of Lucid specifically showing this much though, is that Perfect does get to just play the lane out as aggressively as you do with the Ignite Rumble.
X-Flash coming in, Barrel gonna spot Kellen, but knowing he has Flash and aiming would probably just dash a hook. They just elect to run away as Pyosik makes his third pass at bottom lane. How about a fourth?
Was also the roam from Showmaker. It's Lucid again. It's not letting Pyosik get over here.
And now Pyosik gonna be put into the wall. Lucid healed up. We do have BDD making his way down as well. He is level 7. And they really want to fight. I mean, they are just... they're just so aggressive in this river. They really want to take over this part of the map.
Just want to keep down aiming at Kellen. It's taken a lot of time, but because Pyosik is getting matched by Lucid, both of them are staying relatively low when it comes to the farm. A lot of uptime on the camps being wasted. But with Poppy, you're going to feel a lot less bad about that than you would with Lee. Poppy obviously can be played the way that we see Peanut and Owner do, where you just dive level 3 and then kind of run the map from that point on. But just protecting your backline is always going to give you a ton of value. Our threat's done for Showmaker here now as well. We'll see if we're going to have some action towards the grubs. Because both junglers have been mirrored the whole time, wouldn't be surprised if we see them fight over this as well. Is on vision, of course.
Yep, immediately pinged out. Let's see if they do want to go for it. The Karma should have a decent amount of pressure in mid, but the top lane is all Perfect. As Kingen essentially is just farming under turret at this point. So Perfect even just going to come in here and try to push Lucid away. Smite does come down from Pyosik, and he's just going to be happy with the 1, as this is a 2v3 in favor of DK. As Perfect just going to run away, and Pyosik dashes the wall. Now, BDD does get here, but it doesn't feel like either team really wants to take a fight. DK, of course, in the 3v2 did, but immediately answered by a retreat from KT.
KT doesn't really want to fight the 3v3, even though Rumble has a ton of power. Playing Lee in these type of skirmishes into Poppy is quite tough, and early game Karma is a lot stronger than early game Orianna, unless you can 100-0 someone. So we see KT just back off. They got the 1 grub. Might look for a second one down the line. Lucid not going to waste his time and energy on it right now. Top lane though, Perfect, maintaining this level of pressure towards King and doing a great job there. We'll see if that is going to matter as we do get towards some of these fights. That's surely any second now, Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like the meta has kind of slowed down a bit. Although if we do see action early on, it's always like bot dives, right? Which is not too surprising. I feel like our region doesn't do a whole lot of, okay, the grubs are up, 5v5 on the top side, such as other regions. I heard some talk on Twitter about the LPL doing that quite a lot. But yeah, just essentially, you know, trading the 1 grub, and that's it, you know, just saying, okay, never mind, we're not going to fight here. Pyosik is spotted.
He's trying so hard to make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, he is Lee Sin.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily his fault. He's been trying to set up bot dives, trying to set up bot ganks. Did get Aiming's flash, of course. His pressure, rather, got the flash. It was Barrel actually going for it, but I don't think Aiming flashes there if they don't know that Lee's behind them.
There's a ward in this bush, so they immediately react. I thought maybe they would try to make a move at this Ocean Drake, just because Lucid was on the, or rather, Pyosik was on the top side of the map for so long. But
I wish
he does
they
back.
would. Yeah, could have done that. King can play it a little bit farther forward. try and bait them in.
Seems like they didn't have a lot of control over the bottom lane as they were pushed in at the moment.
Yeah.
At that moment. And now, with Pyosik here, maybe KT's going to go for the streak. They're at least going to go for the scuttle. But yeah, it feels like both these teams very cautious of each other. Even though they're trying to like go for the play, if it's not 100% in their favor, they're just not going for it at all.
This is going to keep happening as well because, again, I want to reiterate, the only reliable form of hard engage on this entire map is barrel. That's it. Everyone else, like, oh, am I going to poke? Am I going to dash in? Mantra Q?
Yeah.
Lee Q?
Base Nautilus enjoyers.
Throw my orb out. The only one that's like, we will fight now to the death, which is very fitting for him as a player, is Barrel. Might have something happening here, though. King and STP available. Don't forget, Perfect has Ignite.
Oh, this is late. It's okay. It's going to be Orianna that does come in. The teleport is being utilized. KT got to get out of here as the Aatrox is coming in from behind. As a three-man knockout comes in from Barrel. That's from Lucid. That is the engage you were looking for, Chronicler, as everybody is going to get away on low health, though they only do get the one kill. It looked really cool. I almost called him Barrel, but, you know, ends up only getting the one kill. The Ocean Drake will go the way of KT Rolster.
I think you take that trade as KT. You do get the early Dragon, which is quite valuable. A lot of resources have to be invested. I wonder what happened to Kingan's flank there. I thought that with Lucid's triple knockup, that was going to be the end of it. Maybe BDD, like, shockwaved him back. Gotta check that out because initially looks like the setup on the play here is a little bit slow. The Drake goes down to 59. It's actually the Orianna BDD that ends up picking it up. And then Barrel ends up going very low. Here you think it's done, and we don't get to see.
Showmaker's dead. Just straight up. Looks like no flash. Used it in the earlier play, and he just dies. Just equalizer on top of the Karma. And that's all they need. No kick utilized from Pyosik either.
Yeah, DK, they really invested so much in that bot play, and for it to only get one kill just isn't worth it. If you get like 3-4 kills there and all of your lanes all of a sudden have a lead, I do think you're going to feel great about it. We can see as well the plates towards top side really paying off. As, yeah, it's very straightforward. He gets hit by the Q, ends up, even if he doesn't, I don't know if there's ever a way that you really make it out there with Rumble, with Ignite, and his ultimate available. Leandri's early up perfect. He did go for Swifties,
yeah,
but I think into Aatrox, I know Huni might not allow it. I will. Do think he went for a great first item.
I think it's a nice little middle ground. You know, you're going to be doing a nice amount of damage. You've got Scorch, you've got Ignite, you have
a lot of
Leandri's.
slows on the enemy team.
You don't have the penetration into the Hex Drinker, which is definitely a problem, but you are able to get in range to do the damage instead. So, bit of a trade-off, of course, and we'll see how early on he does get a Grip Bloom or a Void Staff to throw that one up.
He gets to dodge sweet spots.
Yeah.
Gets a walk out of chains.
He's pretty far ahead, so I would imagine he can kind of get into that item at least second or third, probably, in this case. But we'll have to wait and see what his itemization does look like for the sake of Huni.
And with the pace of the game being this low, I think KT is going to be feeling really, really good, because when it comes to range, they will have the advantage. Obviously, Showmaker will be able to do a lot of very, very substantial poking once he finishes his Malignance. But we have seen teams struggle to get the most out of that when we get to the later stages of the game and more items start to come through. And additionally, Lethality Varus is going to be really good in these type of stalemates that I think if DK don't start building a lead anytime soon, they're going to run into...
There's amount of damage in the barrel, and now he's gone as they are trying to go for some kind of dive, but Pyosik is here and everybody just flashes away. The wave was cleared so quickly. Definitely kind of a lackluster play there from the side of DK, trying to set something up, but very forced and answered very well by the side of KT.
I imagine Lucid wanted to... So the idea there, because they don't have Pyosik there, is you knock away Barrel, who, even though he was low, had ult, flash, and is Nautilus with Aftershock, so you don't really want to go for that. As Perfect is soloing Herald, and no one will stop him. So you knock away Barrel, and then you dive Deft, but because Pyosik shows up, and BDD is on the roam, they just have to immediately invest double flashes. KT really reading every play, and it's really interesting because there hasn't been a lot of action, but not for both teams' lack of trying. Like, they're continuously trying to do something, and the team's like,
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of engage. Lucid got a nice little engage on the last one after KT got pretty severely out of position. And we were surprised that they didn't get more kills, DK. So, yeah, they're trying, but it's not easy. I think that KT with the lead can, as you mentioned before, definitely utilize the Nautilus, you know, do the combo, get an equalizer on top, Chains of Corruption, Shockwave. You have a lot of nice follow-up to that one hard engage you've got in your team. So, especially from ahead, I think KT will be very comfortably playing this one out. But certainly the question of if D+ can get something going with their lack of engage is yet to be seen. It's still just 1-1 at 16 minutes.
Yeah. And on the flip side, everyone in KT is squishy, even Barrel if he doesn't start off of a hook because he is not a farming Nautilus. So the lethality Aatrox is going to do some serious heavy lifting. And even for Lucian, there shouldn't be a problem cutting through some of these members. It looks like they don't want to contest, instead opting to go for some aggressive wave shoving. But the timing on this, not that great. Immediate counter herald comes through, and I don't think Kingen is really threatening to stop side turret.
Okay, Def says, I'm going to take it into my own hands. I am now the engaged with Flash, Chains of Corruption.
Hey.
Which Showmaker does flash away.
Someone has to start a fight.
Yeah, as now Shockwave coming in, Aiming's in a lot of trouble. He's just out of the fight immediately. The Lucian doesn't do anything with this low of range, as now Kingen gets in from behind, but he's just kicked away from Def. Although Def will go down, and Kingen survives after all of that. And now Showmaker making his way back into this play. Keep in mind, KT, they got the Infernal Drake as well. So pretty okay with this one, although Deft is definitely biting the bullet for his team's plays.
He did also flash forward.
He did, yeah.
Which you do have a Nautilus. If the Varus was on the enemy team, I'd feel a little bit better about it. As we take another look here, a lot of damage will be thrown into the Poppy, but Lucid is Poppy, so the lower he gets, the resistances are going to feel quite strong. Great cancel on his ultimate, just walking up like that doesn't really end up working out for him, but he gets the taxi out. And then we're still early in the game. Kingen gets a lot of value from his Hex Drinker. It's also big that they get the kill on Deft, because otherwise I don't think he would have actually been able to stay alive.
Can they kill him here? I mean, Barrel tanking up quite a bit as he will go down. It does feed the kill over to Perfect, who is immensely fed. And does look like he is going for the Proto Belt next, the Rocket Belt. But, yeah, second kill on your Rumble is feeling pretty good. I do feel like the Equalizer could have been a bit better in that last fight. He did try to hit Aiming. It kind of just hit the very edge of the Lucian. Could have done a bit more damage. Not sure if it would have gotten a kill, though, so pretty inconsequential at the end of the day. As turrets traded, but the mid-outer does go the way of KT.
Aiming, just shoving to his heart's extent in the side lane here. Trailblazer for Lucid. I actually quite like it, given the fact that, again, they don't really have great engage. But a sped-up Poppy with a Karma shield and a Trailblazer, not going to feel too bad as Barrel sets this one up. If he drops aggro before he hooks back in, which he definitely could have, he wouldn't have died. But he didn't.
It's the thought that counts.
He gave his life for the kill on his Rumble.
Good hustle, Barrel.
Good hustle, Barrel.
Yosik in an awkward spot, but easily Sin has to kick Lucid away as the entire team is here. That's that speed up you were talking about. Mantra, Inspire, plus Trailblazer. Everybody's sprinting at you. The one issue with this, of course, is that the Poppy is not going to be nearly as tanky as he would be if he went for the OP tank items. Yeah. Such as a Frozen Heart.
Hey, can Godo's next?
He can. I think especially against Varus and double AP solo laners, you want a Canic Recurrent as soon as possible. Like, next item, please. He did go for the Mercs, which is going to help a little bit, but if you go for Trailblazer at this point in time, yes, you can get some nice engages off, but maybe you just get burnt to a crisp immediately, especially from behind. They're not necessarily behind. I mean, they are down a couple of Drakes, and it does feel like KTR controlling the flow of this game, but the gold is relatively similar, and DK absolutely still have a chance to win this one.
Yeah, I'd favor KT slightly. The Drake is unfortunate for them. If this was Hextech Drake and you have Lethality Varus into such a short-range comp, I think you're going to be feeling amazing.
But who doesn't love a little bit of RNG, Chronicler?
You don't.
In my skill-based battler game.
Hey, as long as crit exists, we don't get... At least Aphelios doesn't matter anymore. The amount of games I've seen flipped on, hey, let's see if we crit on the ultimate. Not a thing right now. The saving grace for DK is that KT doesn't necessarily scale all that well either because they don't have a front line. So yes, Beryl, again, if he starts a fight, will definitely be kind of okay at dealing with stuff. Pyosik is going to go for this type of bruisery build, but Lethality Aatrox doesn't care about any of that.
Does he care about anything?
No, he doesn't.
Here comes the Lucian as trying to bait it almost was deft. He does have to flash again. Or no, he didn't flash, he just healed away.
Did.
And aiming did, yeah, just to get away from the bait that was a scary Nautilus over the wall.
But Deft is looking pretty healthy already again. That's now aiming, Summoner's gone. But so is the ultimate of Beryl and Deft. That might be enough to give it over to DK here, the next dragon.
Nice bit of poke damage put in from the side of D+. The Lucian Karma duo is sometimes just more than enough to push the enemy team away. Especially if you get the majority of those culling hits into a rumble, let's say, in this case. You're going to be feeling pretty good. And even though aiming did flash, he also kind of pushed Deft out of the fight just a bit for a while, allowed them to take control of the river, and D+ will get the first Chemtech Drake. So they get plus 6% tenacity, Chronicler.
The main story of this game for me has just been aiming and Deft, like flashing into people. And it kind of working. Well, for Deft, not necessarily. The engage.
Yeah, nice equalizer. That's a hook onto the Poppy, and the chains in the backline as well. It's going to hit the Poppy again, and the kick comes in as Deft very nicely set up there alongside a Beryl, as now that hook is going to be pretty interesting, but Kingen trying to run away from this one. Not sure he's going to be able to. The rest of the team just abandoning ship and will leave their Aatrox out in the ocean. As KT Rolster, couple of kills, now angling up towards the Baron.
Some over-investments there from DK, trying to make the earlier play work. And Beryl, with some clutch hooks, finding his way onto Lucid, chaining these engages. There is still a lot of power available in Showmaker and aiming. Lucid also on his way, and he is zooming Valdez.
He's so fast. I'm not sure it's going to matter, though. Showmaker could get a nice amount of burst damage in here as the Tidal Wave comes in as well, but the Smite is going to be, of course, better than the Mantra Q as a lot of damage comes in from the side of aiming, but Beryl just flashes the wall and a Mega Cone to save everybody and deny any more kills as KT get the Baron and they get out.
Really big win there from KT, losing, getting picked off. That was one thing, but Kingen then trying to salvage the play. Going in super aggressively, investing his flash, but not on the same page of the rest of his teammate is going to cost DK heavily. So we take another look here. They got the dragon already. Perfect starts it off, does a ton of damage. If they give up Lucid, that by itself, as he does end up going down, really nicely done by Pyosik extending the play. That could have been salvageable. But Kingen flashes in, doesn't actually kill Pyosik, then gets ulted away by BDD, meaning that he goes down. More defensive summoners have to be invested by DK.
By the way, Pyosik rather, he did go down to aiming, it looks like, as Jonah Strong was trying to show us that in live while we were watching the replay. Now BDD is trying to, no, I think it was, I guess it was the two of them together. Well, now Showmaker goes down as Beryl picks up the shutdown.
Could have given that one over.
No,
maybe.
Beryl is the carry.
You know, we have so much evidence of Nautilus with farm being OP. I'm okay with it.
It's true. Just glad the Senna was banned. But Varus Nautilus still looking pretty good. But yeah, the Karma's pretty huge at this point in time. He was able to get some value in this play as well.
So they kill Perfect here. How does Pyosik end up dying? Disengage ends up being nice, obviously heavy investment, but not going to be the end of the world. As
let me just clear this little control ward here. Surely it's fine. And I say that sarcastically, but he's definitely not the first one. Nor will he be the last to do that.
Valdez, I think we have a silly game on our hands.
It's been there's been a lot of trading back and forth between these two teams. Let's just say.
KT's still going to come out ahead on this one, obviously, with the Red Bull Baron power play. Not amazing, because Pioshik died trying to clear a ward. But they did end up taking down Showmaker, and now ending up getting an inner as well. So still going to not feel too bad for KT. Also should put him in a great position already in this half of the map to get in some quick backs, and then have the tempo advantage going into a possible soul point setup.
You see the pings on the map there. They want to get vision in bot and near mid, try to set up for this Drake that's coming up in 45 seconds. BDD STP, so can easily just clear this and probably just go over and join his team to fight the Drake anyway. So we're really zooming in onto BDD. He has gone for the Crypt Bloom here.
Hey, Lucid might be listening to you, Valdes. That's a Spectre's Cow in his inventory.
Yeah. I mean, if he didn't build Canic Rooker next, I mean, any kind of MR item, just at least, but...
Wait, I don't remember what the exact build path for Force of Nature is, because it's not a real item. But what if he goes... I actually, like, Trailblazer, Force of Nature, I kind of be down. He's going to be so fast, Valdes! He's going to be running at them!
And he's going to die even faster.
Hey, yeah, we'll call... I don't know about that.
Well, I do hope it is the OP Canic Rooker, but we'll have to wait and see on that. He does not have it for the moment. There's a bit of a 5v5 brewing here. Some nice Master Q action. A big Poppy ultimate to get the jungler away, and now Beryl is just biting the bullet for this one. He's going to go down. As that slow from the tidal wave was pretty huge. And DK, they staked their claim on a second Chemtech Drake here, stacking their own set of Drakes.
Big win for DK, making sure that this game is not reaching a resolution anytime soon. And this is great because these two teams are very evenly faced. I think DK has gotten a lot of very justified criticism for how disjointed they have been looking. And my expectation was that KT should be a lot better coming into the day, just given the fact that KT's losses were against some really good teams. But momentum can't be understated. Even if you get wins against weaker teams, it still is going to help your synergy, it still is going to help your confidence. And you can rationalize, hey, we lost to really good teams, we lost to really good players, but it doesn't take away from the fact that you did still lose. And got pummeled in those games as well. I think KT didn't get a single game, if I remember correctly, against T1 Hanwha or Gen G.
I don't think so, yeah. Why is Beryl buffering his E after dredge lining walls in his base?
Because it's cool.
Does he have a tier? I don't see a tier. I'm a little bit confused.
Yeah, it's
Not
fine.
sure if there's anything in this kit that I'm missing.
Who needs mana?
Yeah. I mean, he's certainly got enough, I suppose, at this point. As, yep, the Karma is huge. And there's not a lot of tankiness on this KT roster of champions. And I was mentioning it before, you know, you saw the Lucian, you could have gone for a tankier set of champions. And then they also had Karma as well, so...
Perfect played the early game really well, but after that he did do a lot of grouping, partially by necessity because he doesn't have teleport. But it does mean that we haven't discussed this, but he's 6 CCS behind. Kingen has just been catching side waves. Because if you go back to so many of the plays that KT made in mid to early game, it's always Kingen inside catching wave, push turret. And he's done that for so long that now he does actually have a lead. And this is the moment where you're like, man, I wish we had Cassante. Because you know who Cassante doesn't care about? Karma and Lucian.
And Poppy. I mean, a little bit about Poppy, but...
You don't have a W, but you have 2 of those with all out.
Yeah, you just do that. They do have a decent amount of damage here on this Baron. And they will get Lucid towards this pit. As he's the tanky one, he's got to lead the charge here for the side of DK. The shields are getting bigger and bigger with all of these Chemtech Drakes that are being picked up for the side of DK. So the Poppy and the Karma feeling pretty good.
Neither team can also really do Nash unless they win a fight. Because if you try to do Nash against DK, you're going to get Collinged, Poppy ulted, or hit by Mantra Qs or Tidal Wave, and it's a really nice corridor for that as well. And then on the other end, there's Rumble and Lethality Baron.
Yeah. Pyosik says, I'm going to do the red buff. Culling does come down, and aiming nearly takes his head off, as the red buff will go the way of D+. And once again, the poke comes in, and KT are like, well, what do we do? Trying to get some vision here on the Baron, but this is kind of all D+ having control over this part of the map.
Credit where credit is due. Aiming has been doing a really good job on this Lucian of looking aggressively for these kills. One of our biggest criticisms of Lucians in general is that the pick in front-to-back teamfight just isn't going to have the type of value, so I'm really happy to see him go continuously aggressive. Is it sometimes a bit too much? I think the play on Deft comes to mind. Maybe. But at the same time, again, with everyone on KT being relatively squishy, there is so much threat when he does go in, as long as he has enough of his teammates to keep him safe. I do feel bad for Lucid because he has been sitting on like 160 CS and he's level 12. He's the same level as Beryl because all the gold has been pumped into the rest
of DK.
I do think there's some diminishing returns on that. You do, like, especially because he's the main engage. I do hope eventually they're going to funnel a little bit of farm into him, because if he's not going to be able to frontline, that is going to be quite tough. At the same time, we do have some major item breakpoints almost being hit now for DK, or already being hit. Lucid, or Showmaker already almost has his death cap available. Kingen sitting on 3 items. Aiming is sitting on 4.
Yeah, he went for the maul pretty interestingly. I mean, there's a lot of, as we mentioned before, a lot of AP damage in this KT Rolster damage lineup, so certainly going to be nice there. He doesn't necessarily need an LDR because there's not really a main tank, again, so he just goes for the Infinity Edge and then he gets a little bit of survivability, and he's going to do an insane amount of damage anyway.
Oh, death cap. Showmaker TPing in. Reiterating, starting Baron, really, really tough. I think Baron needs to look for a hook.
Well, that's a Poppy. Could have tried to force it even if he did get Steadfast presenced. And with Kingen on the bottom side, they really want to force his TP out. So they're going to start this one immediately. The Scryer's Trinket does come down. And they want Kingen to TP into this fight, as now the helicopter being charged up by the Saddle Lucid. He's just going to hold on to it as this one is being laced. The engage just come down onto the Poppy, and they have so much damage, but he just runs it off and sprints away from them. As the TP did come in from Kingen, he's going to try to set this one up, but Beryl is going to be able to get away as Lucid. He dies to the Baron! How did he manage that? And now KT Rolster, yes, very low on health, but 5v4 in their favor after the Poppy dies to Baron.
Really big mistake from Lucid there. Had actually made it out, and DK was in a great position there. Showmaker was doing a lot of damage to the enemy backline with his death cap now finished. And now DK, they got to hold on 20 seconds on Lucid. Don't think there's really a Baron opportunity. I would rather they play it a little bit slower, because all they need to do is make sure that KT doesn't get it. And they are able to do so. Might have to give up the Drake for this, but Lucid, he's going to be sprinting his way back. I hope we get a replay, because that is the most painful death that I've seen since Dundun lost to Gromp.
We've seen a lot of Baron snipes this season so far, but it all starts off with an engage onto the Poppy, which is not always the best target, but he's the easiest target by far. And they have a lot of damage. So they nearly take his head off, and then Lucid's like, you know what? I'll give you the kill.
So, like, the Baron is... Okay,
that's kind of... I'm not... That one.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
So, it must have been a burn of some sort that kept Baron engaged there, and he just walked a little bit into aggro range. Okay, that's not Dundun Gromp level.
Yeah, no. I mean,
silly.
We can give him a pass for that. I mean, he was the closest one, yes, but you're right. It must have been something that kept the Baron in combat just barely. If Baron was at full health, like, what are you gonna do?
We knew it was a silly game, Valdez. Baron is in on it as well.
Baron is very biased against the Poppy. They're going to get some vision here, but this one might be a bit late, as Lucid is going to knock away Beryl, and he's going to get into this pit. It gets so low, they can just keep this one lead. It's just a smite fight, and it goes to Pyosik. Went down to like 1198, and the damage is coming in now. BDD is so low, but he just flashes away from this one as aiming. Desperate to get some damage into Perfect. Will get it down, but there's already 2 members of DK that are in the grave as aiming. Also pretty low depth, and Pyosik Alone gotta try to win this one, but Kingen is full health on the lethality. Aatrox just running at them and should be able to take up Pyoshik as he kind of messes that one up.
Mega Cone!
Mega Cone. We do have BDD who tried to TP into this one. And Deft is, I think they know where he is. Yeah, Mega Cone comes in. He's trying to do some damage to kill it. They take out the Na'Vi. He wants aiming as well, and the kill!
Oh!
He is saved! Just barely on 24 health. Okay. Well, now everybody lost the Baron buff.
Hey, BDD still has it, right?
Oh, did he leave?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's retake another look at this fight. It's somewhat of a 50-50, but Lucid uses his W early, so he's not able to
1198.
actually keep Pyoshik out. Very close smite fight. Does end up going over to Pyoshik. Credit to him. The man has been ice cold on these smites for a good long while, and Deft sniping Showmaker from across like 3 walls, aiming, then going to King and trying to get the chains onto Deft, who then still has the field flash. It's a work of art, Valdez, as Blightstack's getting procced.
아 까비 맞췄는데 안 죽네 이게.
I hit him, but
I wonder if he did have his W, if it would have been enough to kill him even through the Maul Shield. Because the amount of extra damage you do with it is so crazy.
Yeah.
So the Baron power play isn't really a thing.
-30. What do you mean?
It's just
It's a thing.
the game's still dead even.
It exists. It's in there in the top left. I see it.
Oh, they're gonna accelerate it now. Oh, he did get spotted.
Yeah, he's spotted.
They know.
And now they know that he's not there. That's the engage once again on the Lucid, but damage comes out onto Barrel here from aiming a huge Q
King's coming!
into this Lucian, and now
Wait, no, hold.
just trying to back away. And again, they don't really have the ability to get close enough to this death ball of KT, who are just running away as a group. They don't know exactly where Kingen is, but now they're going to have a good idea as he hits that plant, and they just run away as a group. We're fine.
We're fine.
Fine. And Kingen didn't even TP for that one, so no harm, no foul in the play.
Because of the chase, the unsuccessful one from DK, now KT actually gonna out-rotate them, get the mid lane turret here. So the Red Bull Baron power play, probably by the end, mildly positive, Valdez.
1,000 gold, perhaps.
Yeah.
It still counts. This game is still so close.
What I am worried about is with how close this game is that whichever team ends up losing just goes boom. Because it's one of these games where you get like, oh, there were so many things that could have gone slightly differently.
Yeah. It's not going to feel good for whoever does lose this one. And DK, I mean, we were memeing the Chemtech Drakes, but they have 3 of them now. They got one while we were watching the Baron replay.
Oh, yeah.
A 3rd one. So the shields are pretty massive, actually.
8, and also, oh, okay. Also, the amount of power...
Yoshik just sitting on a ward here. Nearly dies. Perfect has to tank it up for him. As Lucid's just having his fun up there on the top side of the screen. Not going to ult anyone. Does Deft go for Serpent's Fang?
I imagine you go Edge of Night. Because there's a lot of high value stuff that you can take with it.
Like a Mantra Q that would like one-tap you.
Yeah, I don't hate Serpent's Fang though for obvious reasons. There is a lot of shielding and healing on the enemy team.
And 3 Chemtech Drakes. So, yeah. Huge value. And for the moment, just waiting for the next Baron. We've already had 2 Barons taken in this game. Or is it 3?
Is it not just 1? Didn't they start Baron a bunch of times?
No, KT got one at 23 minutes, you remember.
No.
And it was like, you don't remember?
No. Well, I'll take your word for it.
It's been a long game already, 40 minutes. Yeah, they had like a little push in the bottom side. It was also one of those kind of lackluster Baron power plays. They got like 1,000 gold.
Oh, yeah, because I remember what happened. Pyoshik died. Pyoshik died clearing a ward, and then because of that they lost all tempo and they only got the bot inner.
Yes, after that. And
Yeah.
they survived with the Mega Cone as well. Like, Beryl, like, peeled for him and flashed the wall, and they all Mega Coned away. That was the first Baron. Then we had the second Baron. So I think it's only been 2. I think.
Wait. No, but they didn't get that Baron. The Baron where they Mega Cone.
Oh, wait, I guess. No, they did.
No, the Mega... Wait, did they?
They did, yeah.
No, the Mega Cone. Yeah. Yeah, you know, you're right. Yeah, because that's when Pioshik died. Oh, this game is throwing us for a loop, Valdez.
It's been a fun one already. And D+, just trying to push the waves. They really just want to get as much mid lane prio as possible and go for the Chemtech Soul. And at that point, I mean, that's going to be pretty huge. 4 Chemtech Drakes with this comp. You're going to have a nearly unkillable Aatrox and Poppy if they do pick up that Soul. It's going to be pretty ridiculous. And they're really setting up for this one. Actually trying to bait on the Baron first, as that one, of course, is alive. Not a lot of vision on that pit for either team.
DK, you can just gift this up.
No.
But they can, though.
No. Very stubborn, I think.
Heck, yeah, just do Nash. Yeah, they don't have soul point.
Like, could definitely threaten it. Showmaker, you're on vision. Just baiting the flash out of Beryl. Well done, Showmaker.
But now he has to flash as well.
Oh, no steadfast presence. The engage on a Lucid. He is in a bit of trouble, but now Kingen gets a massive engage here onto the back line, but he is all alone. Where's the rest of the team? But can they kill Kingen is the question. They're going to get him down to his GA. And again, everybody else on the side of DK was never really able to join Kingen on that fight. So that's just a free GA picked up by KT, but depth still very low.
Oh, but they can still do Nash. KT?
Okay.
So, okay, my guess is that because they realize that the health bars are too low, that I guess they don't want to risk the contest. They lost some of their engage ultimates. They didn't have an equalizer.
Yeah.
And instead, they are just going to trade, give this Baron over to DK. And they didn't have a lot of vision control, so I think in hindsight, it does make a decent amount of sense. Didn't kill Lucid either this time around. Lucid did beat the Baron for the first time this game.
Yeah. So we'll see this once again. Showmaker, he's outside of the bush. Doesn't know he's on vision. Flashes away.
If I'm not mistaken, Barrel just hooked terrain there.
Yeah, he did.
So Showmaker didn't need to flash. And then we have King and I'm really,
Where's the rest of the team when Kingen gets this massive flank? That's what I'm curious about. Because Beryl got knocked away, and the Aatrox was on top of 3 people with full health. And then there were 3 people of DK just like in the Baron pit?
Kingen and the rest of the team just haven't been on the same page.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Kingen's fault specifically.
No, his flank was great. The timing was great.
Took a lot of damage, but now the GA cooldown is down. Pioshik does mean he can go for some really aggressive plays.
Here it is once again. They're just going for that front target. Lucid is going to knock him away, but he's just dead. The amount of damage that they have right now, KT, is just insane. And even Lucid, you mentioned he was behind on levels. He's just falling apart like a piece of paper. Is now perfect in a bit of trouble.
There's a lot of cooldowns being soaked. We'll see if that's enough.
Pioshik trying to challenge Aatrox there. Not sure if that's a good idea, but DK even 4v5, considering getting in on this one. But yeah, just gonna eventually back away. Still have a minute 10 on their Baron power play, but not really able to utilize it without a Poppy.
Lucid is going to be back in a little bit. I haven't mentioned aiming in a while, but he is a true 6 items. No fake 6 items with boots.
Huh.
True 6 item. And so there's Trailblazer, there's Slay.
Uh-oh. Pioshik trying to be the clutch master again. He's gonna get the kick on aiming. He nearly dies for it, and aiming gets away. And now Kingen with the angle, but he's alone once again, and is just taking massive damage. But he heals so much against Beryl. Is not going to survive though, as BDD just gonna chunk him down. And once again, kind of a broken fight. No objectives though.
But this is very late into the game, 55 seconds, and this time around KT is pretty far up the lane. But because Lucid is back, they can't actually push anything.
They get the
There's
kill
no
and they're like, okay.
Well, yeah, but what are they gonna do?
Yeah, there's nothing they can.
I feel like this is the 15th time that Beryl has hooked Lucid, and it's gone every imaginable way. If they do throw a bunch of ultimates, and we do see that Lucid dies very, very rapidly.
Perfect didn't even equalizer. Didn't have to.
As Pioshik really, if he gets the kick over the wall, that is probably at the very least Aiming's GA. Still a successful play though, because it baits a response from the rest. This equalizer from Perfect looks a little bit awkward initially, but it does actually keep Aiming out of the fight, which is why no one on KT ends up going down. Could have probably also used it on the main fight and just be Rumble, and I don't think Aiming would have been able to approach, but 45 minutes. Soul on the table, Valdez. Everyone's alive.
And it's weird, but it feels like, even though we're 45 minutes in, the game feels exactly like it was at 10 minutes in.
Oh yeah, hasn't changed.
Where neither side can really engage. Aiming doesn't have flash here. He's going to get slowed up a bit. The equalizer comes down as the team is backing away.
Oh, they can heal up a lot though.
Yeah.
Off of the plans. Where are you going, KT? There's no objective there.
I mean, we got 2 minutes on the Baron, and we have 50 seconds on the Chemtech Drake. They push mid. It looks like they want to go for a back, I would imagine. But they're going to lose a lot of pressure on this Drake by doing this at this timing.
6 items coming through here. We did see Deft actually swap to plated steel caps there. Trying to, I imagine, reduce the damage from Kingen. If Aiming is on top of you and you're Lefaude Varus, that's just, yeah, it's not going to end well for you. Crypt Bloom here for Perfect. We're reaching basically full items across the board outside of the Poppy. Pioshik does have his third item finished, so is a little bit more tanky.
Kingen's positioning once again pretty good, but look at the warding, the vision
He has
from KT.
Mercurial Scimitar as well as Showmaker on the flank as Karma.
Yeah.
Does have a lot of backline threat damage.
A lot of flanking, but now Kingen, he's here without TP. He's going to get the inhibitor, and this might be a trade nexus for Chemtech Soul kind of situation, although BDD is going to go back. As we will have to look at this 1v1. BDD looks totally fine. He's going to clear the wave, and that issue is solved. Pioshik getting so low, but down goes Lucid again! As the equalizer comes through, and the smite goes down to the side of Pioshik. Showmaker going into stasis, but he's all alone in the pit, and he will be taken out. KT Roaster will take this one down. They get the Chemtech Soul. I don't know if the game is over just yet, though, Chronicler.
No, because I don't know if they have the time to push. They do
certainly
going
gonna
to
try
so much. No, but I mean, DK is going to force a response at the very least. They don't know where Aiming is. Is this going to be a base race? Obviously, way more people available for. I think DK. They need to make the call.
You got to go back. They're going to make the call to go back.
Yeah, one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, 3 people pushing into 0 compared to 2 and 1.
Yeah, Lucid and Kellen are almost back though, and KT didn't actually get the opportunity to end. I think also because they were kind of looking at, is someone on DK going to try and push here? Because if you're ever in a situation where it's just BDD against both Kingen and Aiming, and they do win that fight, they would outpush you by a pretty substantial margin because Deft ended up going down. Take another look at this. Really big there from Deft to get the kill on Lucid. I actually think Dragon also did some damage there. PvE fight not being won. Then we have Kellen flashing into it. Sure.
We gotta look at live. Lucid's here. He's got Hex Flash. There's Vision and KT Roaster. They say, no, we're not flipping it. We will not flip.
So KT also, we didn't mention this yet, but they did get the Soul.
Yes.
Yes. That did happen.
Nice. Okay. Anyway.
Was it?
The Elder Spawner was killed.
No, it's DK.
Do Baron? BDD does have TP, but the damage is pretty large on this Baron who's got a massive health bar. That's Equalizer comes down, and yeah, Perfect just going to help out with that one. And that is Baron given over to DK, smited at about 700. And a nice timing there from them as they knew that KT had to go back to save their bottom lane.
Do like Aiming picking up the LDR. We're really getting to the point of the game where just by virtue of everyone being level 18, you get a lot of value out of shredding the armor, out of the Giant Slayer. The fact that he... Kraken Slayer as well. The fact that he gets to go...
Chronicler, Lucid still has 2 items.
Yeah, no, he didn't get anything.
He has 2 items at 50 minutes into the game.
So this I actually do have issue with. Like, why Why is aiming saying at 500 CS?
He's like barely a champion.
You don't have a front line.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a good allocation of resources.
He did double Flame Horizon him, though. That's pretty cool.
No, but you, like...
I know, I'm memeing, but...
There's diminishing returns on gold, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If it was Showmaker, I think it'd make more sense, but... It's got to be a lot of heavy lifting being
Even
done
Showmaker's
here.
not on full build.
Yeah, exactly.
And we just had full build plus boots, of course, finished here for BDD. Picked up a Leandri's. Everybody's got a lot of health at this point in the game. It's a nice damage item, of course.
The same reason why the Giant Slayer is good. Just by the virtue of base stats being this late into the game. And I still don't have the faintest idea as to who's going to win this Valdez. We might break the record for longest game this split.
It's 55 minutes, I just checked. 55 minutes and 9 seconds. So we're getting pretty close to record-breaking territory.
Because they're not going to be able to, at least for now, substantially break up the base. They have a minute left. We'll see. Trying to set up a trap here for someone to catch the wave, but I would much rather they just use their Baron buff.
I mean, they're trying.
Lucid has as slightly, I don't even know, he might have had less gold than Beryl.
Beryl was very close to getting that hook, and now he's very close to dying. So now, not much of a Nautilus left over. Beryl's going to have to go base, but at the same time, the wave is cleared.
Base holds on. You have really good wave clear with Rumble, Orianna,
Varus,
and Lethality Varus, yeah.
So they're just going to go down here.
Is it just an Elder flip? Is that what we're... Hey, there's the Serpent's Fang!
There it is. Finally picked it up. Not sure exactly what he's...
Opportunity.
Opportunity, yeah. This inhibitor about to come up. Perfect in a rough spot here. He has flash, but he's going to Zhonya's instead. And he will hold on to his flash. Meanwhile, scrambling around the base right now is KT trying to stop Kingen from getting this one as Shockwave comes in and Kingen might have overstepped here, but this inhibitor goes down. Kingen almost nearly gone, but the base might be gone as well. DK trying to end this one, or at least threaten it. They're going to take down a Nexus turret, but also another inhibitor turret does go down. Showmaker doing work in mid lane. As the bottom inhibitor did go down, and AT are holding on for dear life. Want to get another engage into Lucid as he is so not tanky. Tidal Wave comes in, and the inhibitors are being chunked.
Yeah, that's the inhibitors. DK playing this one out so slowly.
Wait, it's neither inhibitor. Wait.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. Just a Fred is enough. As long as DK can get to the Elder first, they should be fine here. And this is the lack of engage. We see there, they catch Kingen in a Shockwave, and they only get his GA. As long as they know where Beryl is, DK can keep pushing and prodding.
And DK played it excellently. I mean, if Kingen is going to go that hard, you have to push the other inhibitors while he's doing it. And Showmaker's doing it in mid at the same time. So it's not even just the bottom inhibitor that was just going to go down, essentially. But they saved 2 inhibitors. So no super minions in mid and top.
Only bot, which you want to play towards bot anyway. Although I don't know, they don't have vision. Can they actually approach? We do have the 3-man unit from KT.
This is the only one here.
Already ready. They do seem to know.
I think we're going to break the record. We're definitely breaking the record. The question is how long it goes for, Chronicler.
Well, KT can just start up this objective.
Yes, they can.
Double TP for Kingen and
TP is
Showmaker.
available.
BDD is standing guard.
I think they want to try to fight
Lucid
this,
has
though.
ult.
They're going to try to fight this one. Lucid, he is not on vision, but KT, they know this is happening.
They can't commit too hard because then they can double TP towards the bot wave.
There's not a lot of vision here for KT. As Kingen gets in, and Pyosik is going to dodge that one. It's going to come down to a flip. Is this Challenger's Chronicler? As they will come down to the flip, and it goes to Aatrox! Kingen picks up the Elder Drake, and that should be game. As Pyosik and Deft on the run, but they're being Aatrox from a distance. And Deft, he's not long for this world. There's the execution, and Pyosik just on the run. He's going to be very sad he wasn't able to hit that smite, and maybe we're not going to break the record as DK will push the bottom lane.
Betraying his old teammates. Slamming them down, gets the Elder somehow. And DK is going to take game number 1.
And Lucid is emoting into them after being caught out multiple times. Doesn't matter. He did the one important thing, which is trying to help smite the Elder, I suppose, along with Kingen. That's going to be game number 1. Going over to DK in a 54-minute slugfest. Didn't quite break the record, but it was quite a long game. Good luck on POG.
Yeah, I need a moment. Truly a continuous back and forth, a game worthy of the KT roller coaster, although they didn't end up taking it. I'm having a hard time with the POG vote. I do think that in this game, the man that, even as messy as it got, even with some of his plays being over-aggressive, that achieved the perfect KDA, he's got to take it. I think Aiming played a really good game of the Lucian, but you can go for Kingen, for getting Elder, and some of his flanks.
The pressure in the side lanes, you know? He was actually doing that, and it was a big part of this one. He was the one who took down the bottom inhibitor that put the pressure on, allowed them to get the Baron.
Showmaker's damage as well, even though Aiming's damage obviously is going to be really high because of the amount of burst he was able to do, was also essential. Kellen, I think, played an amazing Nami game. Lucid made the best with what he got, which wasn't enough.
Yeah,